Welcome back to Game 2 of Virtus Pro versus Meet Your Makers. This is where all the marbles are on the line for that 4th place slot that results in you getting kicked out of the ESL 1 Frankfurt qualifier. So both teams have everything on the line right now. And let's get straight into the draft. I can welcome in my co-caster, who apparently I scared the hell out of when I did my little nah. Pimp Muckle, I just had to make sure you were awake, man. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Pimp.
What?
I'm just now turning you on. Now everybody can hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hashtag production value, hashtag file cap.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I blame it on the fact that I've been playing musical studios, and every single studio works a little bit differently. So that's now that I'm home, now that I'm at the Join Dota studio, and I'm casting out of that, I've forgotten all my ways.
These are nice excuses you have there.
Yeah.
You tell that to yourself, all right?
I did.
That's all right.
I do.
Okay, so we can actually hop in the game, right?
Yes.
Cool. And you know why? I'm pretty damn excited. Badradar from Ace. Back in the day when like there were some smaller cups and MYM was just formed and was still playing under Mouse or Team Live, they picked Badradar offlane and they crushed everyone with it because Ace Badradar in the offlane was so legit. And this was before anyone picked him. I was like, damn, this is legit. And like 2 weeks later, everyone picks him. I'm like, those guys, MYM, they know what's good for them. And, well, can't freaking wait, because this is going to be a treat, especially against the Morphling. Man, so much aggression has to be coming out from MYM.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually, it's funny you brought up Team Life. I seem to have lost my favorite on my browser, but I actually had this. Team Life, I believe, according to the DOTA stats, are currently the highest win percentage team. Like their short little Team Life, when they were known as Team Life, and they were actually doing really well. They had a really high win percentage, and then they moved on to MYM. So currently, I believe Team Life is like one of the highest win percentages out of like any Dota 2 team ever. It's just stupidly insane, right up there with good old Team Zephyr. But yeah, this is Meet Your Makers. Maybe if they just go back to their roots. They did have a point in time where they were actually a very, very strong Tier 2 team. They're actually taking on a lot of really good teams. So Virtus Pro, though, hey, you might have given up a Batrider to Ace, and that's definitely dangerous, but Virtus Pro got what they've always wanted here in the last patch. They've just been running the Morphling like crazy, and that's exactly what they get. They get the burst potential of Centaur as well as Morphling. Can you imagine how much burst that is once you actually finish your shotgun?
Let's just say it's a little bit too much for the average hero. No, seriously, it is ridiculous. And double-edged 400 magical damage in the face of someone who's ethereal, well, I take that any day. But the thing is, I feel like so far, Virtus, they need Centaur to get a blink up, so that's something you actually need to wait for a bit. And then you also need to have the Morphling with a Blink and Sphere, with a shotgun. So you need at least, like, what, 25 to 30 minutes until you can actually fight with your whole team. Until then, you have to create space with a Centaur. And I feel like, especially against this rather aggressive lineup so far coming up from MYM, this is, I'm not sure if this is going to be happening.
You know, I like this gyrocopter pickup because it's really aggressive. It goes well. It has good synergy with the Batrider. It's really good synergy with the Dazzle as well. If you get a good offensive weave and follow that up with some flat cannon hits, it's amazing how much damage gyrocopter actually starts to do, physical damage, really early on. So I really like the synergy of Meet Your Makers, and I have to say that was something that I felt was really lacking. It seems like every single 2-game series that I've been able to cast, we have like the first game just goes awful for one team. It's usually the underdogs. Usually the underdog team just like has a really, really bad game one. And I always seem to attribute it to the draft. And that doesn't stop with this series either. I felt that MYM's draft was really lackluster. It was like they wanted to be aggressive, but they didn't have supports that promoted aggression. They had a lot of independent heroes that can be aggressive, but they needed a basic amount of farm, and they weren't able to really win their laning phase. So it was just like it completely fell apart in game one. But game two here, I feel that they have such good synergy within their own draft. Now, they still have to worry about a late game Morphling. That shotgun is going to be pretty devastating. But Gyrocopter is the kind of carry that, despite the fact that he's fallen out of the meta, he's really, really strong in these early mid-game team fights where he is actually the strongest. Now, he goes a little bit too late. He begins to fall off. He relies too heavily on divine rapiers, pretty much. But, in the early mid-game, he's going to be a big powerhouse, and that's going to be perfect since Morphling will not be coming online until after Shotgun, which is usually after you pick up Lincoln. So I like this. Gyrocopter, some better aggression, better team fight coming out from MYM this time around.
Yeah. What I also like about the Dazzle Gyrocopter combination, if you happen to have like a nice weave ticking up there, and then you force a team fight with a Baton initiation, Virtus.pro has to be very good positioned that you actually don't catch out the Morphling or anyone else for that matter. Because otherwise, Gyrocopter, if you force an engage on some weaved guys, Gyrocopter's going to crush those people. And you know who's going to hit hard? Well, the Drow Ranger's going to hit hard with a bit of minus armor as well.
Oh, this is awesome! I love this Drow Ranger. Okay, so it's always been the issue of Gyrocopter. Listen. I'm not trying to go full Toby. All right, the Drow Ranger is situational pickup. There are times when you should be running it, but there is some really interesting synergy between her and some heroes that hasn't been fully explored. Gyrocopter here has some really good synergy. We already talked about the Gyrocopter Weave combo. You combine this with actually giving Gyrocopter a lot of early physical damage. That's always been the biggest issue with Gyrocopter. He's not very good direct physical damage. He spreads out the damage beautifully among the team fight. It's a lot of times when you compare to I don't know, I feel like a Naga Siren is going to be an okay comparison. The fact that you're not really that good at directing single target damage onto one hero, but you're really good at spreading damage to every single hero across a team fight. So whether it's, Rocket Barrage, Flat Cannon, or even your ultimate, it's all really, really good spread damage, and it can crush really early team fights. That's made all the better by the fact you're going to have this Drow Ranger aura, making Gyrocopter's hits even stronger than they already were. So when you have just a BK, like the basic stat items, which is normally like upgraded boots, you have BKB and maybe a drums and a Yasha for Gyrocopter. That is actually going to be all Gyrocopter really needs, thanks to the fact that Drow Ranger being alive gives him a huge boost to damage. So this is actually going to be some really interesting stuff. I like this idea. It's just, we'll have to see whether or not MYM can actually execute it or not.
You know what they also have to be very curious about? So far, MYM, and we mentioned this in the last game, like Dazzle, he scales excellently in the late game. He's wonderful. Minus armor is always great. Betrudder, he's got a superior magic initiation tool with a lasso and can just disrupt teamfights very nicely and doesn't need too many items. So he's also scaling okay. He's not like a right-click carry scaler, but well, he can still scale. And we've got a freaking Triker of the Ages here, so this is going to be a support Mirana if I'm not completely off here. Or this could be an offlane Mirana and the jungle Batrunner goes super greed, but I don't see them winning the game if they just greed it up with a quad core. At all. Yeah,
that would be too crazy to think about. But at the same time, like, I would be fully in support of a Mirana support. If we just had a support that stunned. But Dazzle, all he has is Poison Touch. In order to make sure that you land those arrows, like, I don't feel that support Mirana, it's way too risky if you're not running stuns. So not only does your other support not have a stun, so you can't have this like roaming duo where you like, for example, Rubik is a really good example of a strong support with Mirana. Telekinesis lasts forever. Arrow is sure to land because you just hold that person there. Arrow lands, you burst them down with the Fade Bolt and then the Starstorm. Hey, a lot of burst damage real quickly. Excellent pick-off potential. But here, like Dazzle, Poison Touch it's not going to ensure that Arrow's going to land. And then every other solo also does not have a stun of their own. So it's not like if Mirana roams into the middle lane, Drow Ranger is going to be able to like, hey buddy, I'll land a stun so you make sure you land your arrow. It's going to be completely risky if this Mirana is a support and is roaming around trying to land arrows because it's completely freeform. But the other option here is that we have a Gyrocopter support, which is something that we saw a long time ago, and it was very, very... we only saw it was very rare. It only picked up once or twice, but MYM, that might be what they're doing here. Link is on the Mirana.
Yeah, but Unicorn was the carry player for MYM like a few weeks ago, so he can... No, he's actually pulling some... Yeah, he's pulling some sandwich. It's going to be super Gyrocopter. Reminds me so much of Arky playing him from Team Alliance, of course. And, well, they like to just run the Gyro, and if they have a good early game, he can just farm up a Lincoln's. Not Lincoln's, what am I talking about? A Midas, and then he can just catch up. So that's a big deal. And you have the option for like a quad core, but you don't need to force it right from the get-go. And that's a very smart pickup. This is, yeah, I think that's a cute game plan. Question is, I think in my mind it all comes down to Smile picking up a, and what is his start item? What the hell is going on? Well, anyways, if Smile picks up a early blink dagger, I feel like Virtus.pro are gonna be in a good shape.
This is interesting. I'm not sure, like, if Smile is waiting to see what the lane is that he's dealing with and whether or not he goes off-lane items or possibly, like, 1v1 items. You know, maybe that was his thought process, but now he sees a little bit more information. He just goes, picks up the boots, as well as the tango. So he's going to go for normal off-lane build here. But I got to say, I was like, ooh, MYM, this is really, really fun. But it was, like, now I don't like it. Like, if it's a support gyrocopter, not a fan. Because despite the fact that, like, I wanted to see a really farmed gyrocopter who is hitting like a truck thanks to Drow Ranger Aura. Meaning that you don't actually have to rely on Drow Ranger getting a bunch of farm. It's like Arteezy style, middle Drow Ranger, where you're able to die a bunch, but you're still going to be hitting like a truck, and not only that, you're giving your allies a lot of extra damage as well, so it's all okay. Here, with a support gyrocopter, I feel like that synergy is completely gone now, because now we have a Mirana core instead. I don't know, man. This just feels so goofy. Before I saw a plan, now I don't see one at all.
Yeah, so usually I have got some ideas like how you just pan this out, but so far I just want to see the execution of MYM, and I feel like it comes down a lot to making stuff happen in the mid lane, because G is going to be very, very scary if he picks up a Blink Dagger as well and a BKB. You know, just have a Stampede ready to go, double Blink Daggers and just smash people's faces in. That's a big deal. That's usually pretty good if you just kill stuff. And yeah, but so far, well, all eyes on Link. If he can get the farm up, that's nice. I can see this working out, to be honest. I mean, agility on the Drow range is so ridiculously good with like 5 freaking range heroes.
I don't know, man. If you get a Blink Dagger on Centaur, this is all over, I feel like. As soon as the Blink Dagger, because look, they're so damn squishy. Gyrocopter, Mirana, Batrider, Drow Ranger, and Dazzle. They're all popped by a Centaur. They are all crushed by the max nukes of Centaur. The Blink Dagger initiation, there's very, very little many of them can do about it. Mirana can leap away, but can still be caught. You know, sometimes you don't actually leap away fast enough, and you still get hit by that stun. You get bursted down real quickly. We do have Dazzle, who can Shall Grave, possibly to save his allies, but besides that, that's it. That's your only defense up against this Centaur. God forbid the shotgun is up early at all. MYM is just going to get destroyed. So, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of this. The only hope I have is that maybe Link picks up like a minimum amount of farm here in this lane. I don't even know. And like starts roaming at level 4 or 5. I'm not sure, man. I don't like this battle plan at all for MYM.
You know what you can do? We can actually bet res, like just the two of us. Because I still think MYM can work this out. I would bet around this one.
No rares on this. No rares on this for me, man. If they actually ran,
but you can go with the VP. You can get an easy rare if you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, I'm putting 10 rares on VP right now.
Okay, 1 for 1. That's all right.
As we speak. No, okay. But I just no. This like if they picked up a regular support, I was fully support. I was fully all in for MYM. If they just picked up something to go with the Dazzle, they had so many different options when it came to supports they could have run. Then just run a regular dual lane at bottom, gyrocopter farms up, just commit some sort of support to keeping the Centaur back, because it's really important to do that. Make sure he does not grab an early Tranquil Boots or does not grab an early Blink Dagger. Shut him down. Commit the other support to be able to shut down the Templars.